You're watching SchreckTeck, where tech is Shreky. This show is sponsored by Synapse 3DI at www.synapse3di.com and by Relate Corporation at www.relate.com.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode number 5 of SchreckTeck. Hey, I'm joined here today by the inimicable...
Shrek!
Shrek!
Happy Fat Tuesday, everyone! Okay, so, Rick, Fat Tuesday, I'm thinking today's the day we eat, and we were just talking about, before the show started, the 4-Hour Body. Both Rick and I got the book. I only read about a chapter of the book, and I was overwhelmed by the amount of science that you needed to know.
Yeah, I ate the book, actually. I was so hungry.
You ate the book. But we both pitched the whole thing, so we stuck with it for about 4 hours.
That's right.
But it is Fat Tuesday, and so the day we're supposed to eat, and I say, and spend money. So we're going to do a show today. I think our focus should be on how to save money so that we can have money in our pocket on Friday to spend money on the new iPad 2.
Yes, and talking about the iPad 2, I'm getting one.
You are?
I'm going to order it probably this week. I may order, I don't know. I don't think I want to go to the Apple store and deal with the throngs, but yeah, definitely going to order one. I've had the iPad for almost a year, and frankly, I do love it. It's a great device. Too. I've been looking and doing a lot of research on the Android devices, and I was really getting close to buying an Android.
The Zoom?
Yeah, you know what? I'm hearing a lot of complaints, and
really?
I'm hearing that the apps aren't really there yet. The quality of apps is not really as good as what you're finding on iPad, and the prices are $300 more than an iPad.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'll stick with all my investment on the iPad for right now and give Android another year or so, and then I'll get an Android tab. The Zoom still doesn't have Flash. That's an issue. It's not going to come out till summer now.
Right.
So if I don't have Flash on an iPad or Flash on a Zoom, what do I need a Zoom for?
Right.
And the Samsung, you heard the Samsung CEO after seeing the iPad demonstration said, we are not worthy. And and so
I think he bowed at the end down to an iPad or something, didn't he?
Pretty much. I mean, at this point, they're saying they're going to lower the prices to compete, make no money whatsoever on it, and go back and redo their hardware. Now, that's a little scary. And that's one of the major manufacturers. On the other hand, my wife has a Samsung Captivate, which is the AT&T version of the Galaxy S.
Right.
It's got a nice screen and a very unimpressive phone on the whole.
Is it? Oh, so it's not the 7-inch.
No, that's
tablet.
the middle tablet, which again that gets fairly good reviews, but $500 for a 7-inch tablet.
I know.
It's overpriced. Yep.
It is, and my husband is anti-Apple. I mean, he despises,
I do too. Don't.
Yeah. He can't walk into an Apple store because he gets angry that they tell you, oh, you need to, we'll call your name or something. Go get your name put on the board to purchase them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Two iPad or
well, you're lucky they don't make you go in with a black T-shirt on just so you look the role.
Maybe that's the key. Is maybe if he wore a tight black T-shirt, he would immediately get attention. But yeah, he can't do it. But he has an iPad, so it's his first Apple product besides all the iPods we own.
Well,
so
Gina, one thing we haven't done is for all of you who are watching the show right now, please join us in the chat room live. We are on justin.tv/RelateCorp. I'm sure you're on there right now. And
Terrence is in the chat room reminding us that the iPad 3 is coming out in 7 months. So I love the commercial that, the moment you buy something, you see the next new thing. And we have the 3D TV and everyone tells us, yeah, where's the 4D? So.
Because, when the moment is right, you want an iPad.
I'm telling you. I think so. We are going to focus on saving money. So I think we should dive right into one of the saving tips. Using technology to save money this week so we can spend money on the iPad.
All right. Speak,
okay.
Speak, Gina.
Speak week. So, the first thing we're going to talk about, ways to save money. I don't know if anyone's tried this yet, but on SlideShare now, there is a new service called Zipcast. And Zipcast is SlideShare's version of a webinar. You can now load your slide deck on SlideShare, like always, but then you can invite people, unlimited, public or private, so you can open it up to the world or make it a private webinar, and it's free. Free
is good.
Yeah, free webinar service. Now there is a service for $19.95 that they're offering, which is still beats all the other webinar services. But then the $19.95 version has no ads. The free version, there's either ads on the top or bottom of it, but real small. But that is a smoking deal, and I think a lot of us now are doing and hosting more webinars. Anybody out there in the chat room? Anyone try it out yet?
How's the performance on that? Have you tried it?
I haven't actually held a webinar on there, but I've loved SlideShare. And, I'm always using SlideShare and going to SlideShare. So I'm going to actually try one next week. We're going to do just a test run. But I heard about it last week and thought, I need to check this out. Free webinar service is amazing.
That sounds great. Right
there, you've just saved enough to buy half of an iPad.
or a quarter of an iPad 3.
Or a quarter of it. So that is, I think we're going to, look into hosting a couple webinars. And webinars aren't my favorite. I mean, after this show this morning, I'm doing it's a virtual event, but it's on a service called Telenect, TELENECT. And I think their name, for some reason, I can't ever get it right, so that may not be a good sign. But Telenect is pretty pricey. Right now, it's about $2,000 for one event, but they combine your slides with really great video quality and chat room. So that's another, we're looking at all these virtual options and which ones are most engaging. And I think in whether it's social media, small businesses, in education, we have to look at how do we reach a virtual audience. And so what have you found, Rick, to be kind of your favorite virtual delivery?
I've worked with Adobe Connect. I've worked with GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar.
Right.
I like Connect for the ability to lay out rooms. It's great. Nobody beats Connect when it comes to layout.
Right.
The Flash thing is its best asset, and it's also its worst nightmare, because you do run into Flash issues every so often when you have different versions of ActionScript, blah,
right.
blah, blah. So so it's my favorite and also not my favorite. It's one of those.
And I think on Adobe, I like the fact on Adobe, I think it's Adobe Connect, that you can write on the slides.
You can, but you can do that with GoToMeeting. GoToMeeting is a little bit different.
I like to allow the participants to draw the slides.
Well, you can do that. With GoToMeeting, you can actually make people presenters, and then they can draw on it. And same with Adobe Connect. You have to make them a presenter before they're allowed to just go around drawing on things.
See, maybe it wasn't Adobe Connect. There was one that I opened up the annotation tools without making them presenters. But then they picked a marker and a color, and I encouraged them to write on the slides, which freaked out the person that was putting the meeting on. But I was presenting, and I said it was interesting to see how engaged people stayed. I would ask a question. Instead of them typing in the chat room, they drew or wrote their answers. Yep. And it was like kids in kindergarten. They were so excited to just draw on the slides.
Great thing for burgeoning graffiti artists.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think we have to look at how to be more engaging with our content delivery. Again, even as in a marketing position, if I'm trying to market information, I need to put out great content via video or webinars. And
the worst thing about webinars is, for the presenter, is you literally just have your voice, nothing else.
Right.
You have content, and then you've got your voice. And how many times have you been on a webinar where you hear, "Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about," and the audience has already died within 10 seconds.
They're already getting their pens and going, "I need to poke my eyes."
If you had their speakers on, you'd hear them falling off their chairs in a catatonic state. Yes, that's no fun.
I know. Yeah. So, and I like the pre-show show, even in webinars. Open up the webinar about 5 minutes before the starting time. Don't start until the time, because people freak out about that. But about 5 minutes before, if you open it up and have music playing and kind of just get the energy and ask people to chat with you back and forth, somehow you've got to be a little more high energy on webinars because it's just not so exciting.
That is true. Now, you wrote me a little note about Angry Birds.
Well, yeah, did you hear Angry Birds is coming to Facebook? So, which is interesting because I've only played Angry Birds once, and I did get addicted, and so I had to put it away. But it's going to be a game on Facebook. It's going to try and compete with, of course, Farmville and Cityville. Now they're having to revamp and change the game to add a social element. So, but if you're an Angry Birds fan, soon you might be able to play on Facebook with your friends.
And what Gina didn't tell you, she played it once, but it was for 82 hours straight.
It was. It was on a really long flight. I blew through like 12 levels or something, which might not be that great, but I was impressed with myself and my skills. Now I'm addicted to Words with Friends. Oh my gosh. If you play Words with Friends, hook up with me because my family is too slow on the uptake.
I'll get in on it. I haven't tried it yet.
Shrek Fam. That's my
Shrek Fam.
I don't know. My daughter set it up for me. Shrek Fam.
Yeah, I like to play Word Genius. That's a fun app.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
That's one. It's pretty good. You get a big grid and you have to make out words from any direction, and it's actually a lot of fun.
That's cool.
And you can make your grid small or large, and large gets pretty complex. And you can either play against the clock or play against a completion. I've never completed one. And they come out with words that actually don't exist. I'm convinced they just make them up.
Well, that's kind of how my daughter somehow gets away with words that I've never heard of on Words with Friends, and she gets points, and I try it, and I don't get. It doesn't. But we did look like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory family the other night. I was Grandma Georgina. My husband was, Grandpa George, and Bailey was, Charlie. We were all sitting in bed, and we were playing Words with Friends against each other. So I said, "Is this what the modern family does? Board games on iPads?"
Yep. That's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's pretty.
But that is so. Yeah, that Angry Birds is coming now. Another thing. Yesterday, I went into my Google profile, and I keep telling people go in if you already have a Google profile, because I think this is our doing social right. We really need to look at beefing up our social search. So we want to be findable when people are looking for an expert, when someone is looking for resources. Can they find you? And we know if you really beef up that Google profile, that your social search, you will start coming up, and even some of the blog articles will get better rankings if you have that listed in your Google profile. So yesterday I took some time and just went in and beefed up, kind of refreshed the profile, your bio, added more. I didn't even have my LinkedIn profile listed on my Google profile. So I made sure I listed everything from my Flickr account to SlideShare, everything I could think of. And I'm sure I still am missing a couple, but you can add as many places that you've got profiles. I mean, for goodness sakes, we have profiles everywhere. Do you use your Google profile, Rick?
No. I have one. In fact, I just recreated it. I had one, but it was empty. It just had my name on it. So, yeah, now I have one. But I haven't really used it anywhere.
Yeah, well, you don't really use it, but I think it helps in the searchability and findability when someone is Googling your information. Now there's this whole social search piece in a Google search that if I'm searching for some information, and let's say, Rick, that you wrote a blog post about something, your post is going to rank higher in my search results because you're in my social circle. So it's interesting. We need to be a little strategic and say, if I'm connected with a bunch of folks on LinkedIn, I want to make sure that I have, we're just trying to look at weaving little web pieces that help our stuff show up higher in a search if someone else is looking for that content. And in social search now, we will come up if we're in their social circle.
Interesting. That's pretty good. Yeah. So I, by coincidence, I just happened to update or create one yesterday.
Oh, look at that.
Mainly because my old blog disappeared. Can't find it. can't get into it. So I said, all right, fine. I'll create a new one. So we created a brand new blog, which has no entries yet, but will probably by this weekend. And it's going to be going. And it's going to be called Half Empty Learning.
Oh, but Rick, isn't the glass half full?
I don't even have a glass, so it doesn't.
It's half empty.
My concern
empty.
is the people whose glass are cracked.
Yeah, well, I have been called a cracked pot before, but but my glass is always half full. See.
And moving right along here.
Shiny objects, shiny objects. Okay, a couple cool things. Again, we're doing more videos, taking lots of pictures to add to our social sites and use on our websites and blogs. And, you know, I've had this Gorilla Pod. I think you and I have talked about this. We have these Gorilla Pods.
They are great.
Yeah, because you can wrap them around things. So let's say that you're trying to get some video and you want to wrap it around. Well, there's a new one out. And the feet of the Gorilla Pod are magnetic, really strong magnets. So not only can you still bend it and wrap it around things, but you can actually put it to the side of a file cabinet or a car. Or oh, now there's something. Put it on your car and drive down the street.
You know, if you've had a hip replacement, you could actually put it on your hip.
On your hip. But I do like the Gorilla Pod iPod or tripod because you know it just makes it a little more portable when you're taking your camera with you and then able to get some good shots. And you again, it has a universal that you can put your camera or your flip video. But there's another one that I saw at the National Speakers Association conference. There's a woman who works for Personal Camera Crew. So if you go to, I think it's personalcameracrew.com. She has, you know, it's an extender, and you've seen these people in crowds that there's a bunch of people somewhere, and there's a camera way up in the air getting good shots that we're missing. And she sets a timer on her camera and then holds it up way up in the air, and it's shooting some shots. But you can also hook your flip camera onto it. So I've ordered one of my Personal Camera Crew extender arms. I'm going to be playing with that. Another thing you can do is hold it out in front of you so it's further away if you want to take shots of yourself. So if you want to talk into the camera and you're outside somewhere, hook up your flip camera and then hold it out so it's not right in your face, Blair Witch Project style.
That's actually pretty clever. I wonder how stable it is because, you know, if you hold something out, it's going to start moving.
Well, you know, it's interesting. If you go to their site, there's all kinds of sample videos of it. It's really cool, and it's pretty. It is telescopic. So it's, you know, you stretch it out, but it's real sturdy. So
that's great. I will check one of those out. I love those little video gadgets. They're great. And Gorilla Pods are great, and they're good if you have one or two cameras and you want a third one, or you want that really weird shot that's hard to get to. You just can't lie down low enough, or you get up high enough, and you could attach
it to your leg, and it looks up your nose or something.
You can attach it anywhere. It's actually a pretty cool little device.
Yeah, I like them.
And by the way, they come in a lot of sizes.
Right.
There are some really small Gorilla Pods for small cameras. There's some huge ones. So if you've got a heavier camera, I don't know I don't know if they go up to 5-pound cameras, but you can put it on pretty large cameras. It'll do a pretty good job, and
they're sturdy.
They're very cleverly designed.
Yeah, and go. You know, you look at their website, and I think we have the link.
Yep, we were there. We were there a second ago. There's
all kinds of stuff. I mean, they've got so many products. Really cool stuff there. So, and for Rick, they do have one with a flashlight on it.
They have one with a flashlight on it?
And when you're hunting and you don't want to hold the flashlight, we keep teasing. Rick, your shiny objects always had something to do with hunting.
And I don't hunt.
Shooting. I know, and you don't even hunt.
I don't even hunt. I like weapons, but I don't hunt.
He likes weapons. He doesn't hunt. That scares us even more, Rick. Even more frightening. So, no, and now it's interesting. Taryn or someone asked Lily, it might have been Lily, can you disable the magnets? I don't think so. I think it was just the feet on them were magnetic. So you can order, like this one does not have the magnets. The new one, it's a newer one, has the magnets on it.
And if you happen to have a bridge or a partial, don't put it near your face because you're going to be, it's not good. Just not good.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
Not good at all. I guess you could always disable it by getting a set of magnets that are only magnetized on one side, and then you could put it. Then only one side would be magnetized. Just a quick, that's our science tip for the day.
The science tip for the day. Well, and just to point out once again, you don't have to hire a camera crew to film one of your training videos or one of your marketing videos. You can now have your personal camera crew extender arm or Gorilla Pod stand, and you've now just saved more money for that iPad 2.
And on some of the camera crews,
I think we've almost got it paid for.
Yeah, and on some of the camera crews, I've had a Gorilla would have been better, believe me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's magnetic covers on the new iPads too. I'm still not.
That's interesting.
Yeah. What do you think about that? I do not. Everyone's talking about how cool the design. I don't know. I find that very odd.
Yeah, and
cool, kind of cool. I like
interesting.
The fact that
not exactly warm to the touch, though.
Yeah, I just find it's like, I don't know. I love the fact that mine has a case that can zip up and the whole thing is protected. And they're saying you really don't need to protect or close the whole thing. You just need to protect the screen.
Right. Yeah, but the thing is, if you live in a cold climate and you're carrying your iPad around and it's not in it's a metal holder, your hands are going to be very cold. I mean, all the time I sit outside in the ice. I couldn't be working like that. I can't work in these conditions. Yeah, I don't know. I find it kind of interesting. I'm thinking, okay, would I lose the little case because it comes off so easy? Is it worth $30? It's a gimmick.
It's a gimmick.
It
costs them probably 10 cents to make.
That's true.
But it's Apple. It's magic.
That's right. Oh, it's time to move on to
apps
on the map.
Apps on the map. Okay, I have some fun apps today because one of them has to do, again, with saving money. Because right now we have the iPad 2 coming out, so we need money for that. And we have gas prices going up, so we're spending more on gas. Well, I have been using this app called GasBuddy. I don't know, do you use that?
No, I haven't heard of it.
Okay, this is really cool, and it's available on any smartphone. So I have it on my Android. I've used it on my Android many times, and then I downloaded it on my iPad. So GasBuddy, let's see, I open up the app, and it will tell me where it needs to use your location, obviously, because when I first set up, I had to put, it's making me log in. I had to.
I'm getting a lot of noise on your audio right now.
You're getting noise? Oh, maybe it's my iPad.
Maybe, because it's wireless, right?
It is.
Yep, I think that might be doing it.
That might be.
Right when you pick, right when you
figure out what that is.
Right when you picked it up, it started getting noisy.
I bet that's what it is. Okay, so you log in to GasBuddy. Of course, I should have had it logged in earlier, but it tells you where the closest gas stations are to you and what the price of gas is at that moment. So, and if you drive by and see that the price is maybe 10 cents higher, it allows you to put kind of updates. So it's member updated as you go. But, I mean, I checked it a couple times during the day, and it was higher at the end of the day in my neighborhood little gas station. But it's really cool. And then you can say, take me to it. And it'll pull up the map and GPS you to go get gas. And, of course, you'll probably drive further to go get the cheaper gas and spend.
We are at almost $4 over here for gas.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, that's really high. I think we were at $3.16 yesterday.
I think we were $3.89 yesterday.
Ooh.
Not good.
Wow. Yeah, that's high. So GasBuddy, I'm having problems just trying to type and talk to log in. But check it out. It's a free app. Costs you nothing. Can save you enough money to buy another quarter of your iPad 2. There we go. I'm logged in. So, yeah, you can find gas near me. I can, again, it has different levels of different grade, mid-grade gas. It's telling me, where I can find the gas at that price. Oh, it's $3.29 this morning. Wow. It's almost like California.
Yeah.
So I think that's a cool app. Again, put it on your phone. I've used it in the case where I'm running really low on gas and I need to find a gas station, but I don't know, I'm in an unfamiliar area. So I open up GasBuddy and it will show me, this is 1 mile away or half a mile away. And you say, take me there, and it gets you the directions there. So I like that. Oh, and I'm looking at the chat room. Oh, wow, Lily, $2 per liter. Okay, but wait a minute.
That's a lot. It's about 4 liters per gallon, I believe.
Gallon. Yeah.
So $8.
Okay. $55 to fill up a car, not even an SUV. Yeah, we need to start taking our bikes again.
Yeah, but it's really hard in the U.S. where everything is really far away.
Yeah.
You can maybe do that in a lot of European cities, but here, I mean, for us to bike anywhere is about a 20, 30, 40, 50 kilometer ride, which means 20, 30 miles. Not easy sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard. And we live out in an area where there's not even any bus. There's no city bus that comes here. There's no school bus that takes my daughter to school. So we're driving all the time. So it's just kind of one of those cost of living expenses. So hopefully GasBuddy will save you a few cents anyway, because even looking at this, I know to go to the Safeway gas station, it'll save me 6 cents per gallon.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
We live next to a very big retirement community. You're actually not far from us, so I wonder if it'll find gas there. Man, dispatcher.
I bet it will. I mean, I live out in the middle of nowhere, and it's telling me the gas price is right there. Okay, another. I'm always looking for note-taking apps that are really helpful, and my husband showed me this one called Noteshelf. And Noteshelf, what I like about it, it's kind of like iBooks, and again, it's available on iPad and iPhone, not on Android, but it looks like a little bookshelf and you have your little books on it. So each of your topics have its own book, but all of these are for hand writing. So you have to use a stylus or your fingers. So it's a little sloppy. I don't know if you can even see with the glare, but I could scribble on it and make out, and then I can email the notes to people. But I like the little shelf that it keeps them on.
Which looks like iBooks.
Yeah, it looks exactly like iBooks.
So they may get sued one of these days if they don't watch it.
I know. Well, yeah, that's probably, maybe it's by the same group. I don't even know. But it was $4.99, so there goes our savings on gas out in the app right there. So I don't know if you want to use that or not. But Rick, I do have a surprise app for you.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so we keep teasing Rick about his guns and his weapons, and I found an app called Hunting Call.
Uh-oh.
Now, if you are a hunter,
and I don't hunt, but
which neither one of us are, but Rick, you can now hunt in your backyard, because if you want to call some ducks, there are different duck calls, and geese. You can call the geese, but if you really want to get serious, you want some big animals. Oh, I got to turn. They stay on, by the way, until you turn them off.
That actually sounds like my backyard.
Yeah. Okay. Enough ducks. But you want to go after some big game. You might want to call an adult buck with this grunt. I sound like more like a burping app. I'm not sure. Here's a buck snort. It has all these different sounds. Okay. So
that's those retirement people in that community. They sound just like that.
Okay, but wait, but it even gets better, because there's a remote mode. This is what's hilarious. You can sync it up with your iPhone. You go lay your iPhone in the bushes next to your neighbor's house.
I think that's high-tech harassment of the poor animals.
Okay, in our neighborhood, we have bear and we have mountain lions. So I can actually... I don't know why they would have a bear. Do you call bear? If you're hunting bear, do you try and call them? But maybe in California you have javelina. It sounds like the kids fighting in the other room.
Now, does it have coyotes?
It does.
Because we have coyotes all over. We every night we have coyotes howling their heads off.
Locator. That is the call of the wild.
You know, I hear that almost every other night.
Well, I just think it's hilarious that you can lay your iPhone in the bushes
and harass
animals. You
animals.
Go far away and you put it in remote mode and you can control from your iPad. Now, this is a high-tech hunter.
Yeah.
I think that is worth $1.99.
Or one sick puppy.
I am going to be totally messing with people with my new Hunting Call app. $1.99 Hunting Call. just for Rick and his love of weapons. He doesn't hunt, but I think you might start tracking some wild turkey after playing with this. Yeah. So, I thought that one was too good to pass up. Okay. Do we have time for one more? Sneak in one more?
I think we do.
Okay. Because, I speak at a lot of conferences, and many of you out there are doing more speaking because, again, speaking is a great way to share our information, whether it's marketing, whether it's learning. And there, I'm always looking for apps that will help, whether they're timers, but there is one called Prompter Pro, Prompter. See, Rick, I didn't even send this to you because I was going to save it.
You do? It's great.
I love it. So it's a teleprompter. And, I was using Notes, and then I thought you can't make the font bigger. And so I didn't like that. But on this one, you can actually increase the font. So you type up your presentation, and then you can actually make the font really big. And when you start the presentation, it has a timer built into it for your rehearsing. It has all kinds of great features. And then when you start, it'll scroll automatically. Have you used yours during a presentation?
I've actually used it during voiceover recording.
Oh, great.
And it works well for that. It doesn't reflect because it's small. The iPad's not huge like a big monitor. Right. It's really clean. It does a good job, and we have used it on some video shoots, small shoots, where we could put it in front of somebody, they read as they're going without having to put the teleprompter right in front of the camera.
Right.
It's another way to give people notes or cues without having to do the big cue cards.
Right. Now, see, and it's interesting because that's when I've used it, is I was the MC and was kind of doing Oprah style interviewing some of the panelists. And I typed all the questions out on here, made it big enough so I didn't have to wear my glasses, which was helpful. And then when you had it on, it was just scrolling at a perfect pace that I was able to see the questions go by. So
yeah, I think it's, what is it, about either $5 or $9? It wasn't cheap.
I paid $4.99.
$4.99. That's about right. Okay. It's well worth it.
Pro. I really like it.
It's worth it. It's better than $1,500 for a teleprompter.
Yeah. See, right now, you now have enough money to buy 2 iPad 2s. We have saved that much money today.
Or half an iPad 3 now.
Or half an iPad 3.
We've gone up from a quarter.
That's right. Yeah, I like it. I like it. So I think we're almost ready for our Dear Shrek.
Uh-oh.
This is sad.
And now it's time for Dear Shrek.
Dear Shrek. Yeah. This one comes all the way from Tennessee. Someone in Tennessee who wanted to be left unknown because he writes in that he flubbed big time. He was managing social media for another company and was using TweetDeck. Had TweetDeck set up for the client's posting and his personal account. You can already see some danger, can't you? So, Dear Shrek, the other night I was posting information, chatting with my friends at the same time, posting information for the client and chatting with my friends. I thought I had clicked on my personal profile, made a comment to one of my friends, and realized it went out to the client account. Ooh. Yeah, bad news. Now, he said I had to write an email and apologize to the client because I know once you tweet, you can't delete, which I thought was pretty clever. But, this dilemma, number one, is not as bad as he made it sound. He didn't even know you can actually delete tweets. I'm not sure how he doesn't know that. But he's right in one sense that once you tweet, you can't always delete. Because even though you go and delete it from your server, if it already went out, let's say it went out to, the client's members and community members, I get it. Maybe I retweet it. Once it's already on my server and I retweet it, it's already out there. So technically, you can delete it, but it's still alive somewhere. However, here's what said, first of all, it is confusing when you're using tools like TweetDeck because it's easier to mix up. You have to click on the buttons of which account you're sending it. I would recommend using Hootsuite, even though when you are using multiple accounts, it costs per month. Hootsuite, you can actually have tabs, and you don't get them mixed up as easy as you do on TweetDeck. So Hootsuite might have solved the problem or prevented the problem from happening in the first place. Second thing is, I think all you have to do is go and delete it, and you can even post something saying, oops, wrong account, or depending on the personality of the company.
Temporary insanity would work.
Exactly. You could, maybe the company's sending out suddenly a tweet that says, meet me at the bar. You could say, that was sent out by mistake. I think people are really forgiving, and it's such a short window that the information probably is even seen, that if you go and delete it, I think you're pretty safe to then just go about posting again. But I would recommend using different tools because TweetDeck is harder. It's all across the screen. You click on, I want to post for this account or that account, and it's easy to get confused. So, yeah, that dilemma, Hootsuite would probably be your solution. Yeah. Have you ever done that? Have you ever sent out a tweet that you
not that I want to admit to. But yes,
See,
I think we've all done that.
Yeah. I've done several where and a lot of times it's
and a word of advice, never talk about business on Twitter.
What?
Never
talk about business?
Well, private business.
Oh.
Because it's going to get out there. Don't talk about people.
Yeah, which is, that actually brings up a different dilemma that a friend had. He had a guy supposedly doing his website. They were connected on Twitter, and they were using that to communicate through direct messages. Well, the website developer was not doing the job. It had been like 3 or 4 months, still didn't have his site done. The business owner was really upset, had sent him emails, had called him. The guy wouldn't return his calls. So he went on Twitter, and this guy was new to Twitter, so he didn't really understand. He thought if he did @reply, it only went to that person. So he did @reply. I really need this website taken care of. This has been way too long. You already got paid. And it was a scathing thing, but it went out to everybody. And he got a call immediately from the web developer. So, on one hand it worked, but I do think we have to really be careful. Like you said, if you're going to type something that's an angry message or you're talking about someone, Twitter's probably not the best place to be doing that.
Unless you want to complain about a product quality. That's a good place to complain about manufacturers who put out
you get results.
Crappy stuff. All of a sudden you get a lot of people paying attention to that.
That's right. You get results. People are listening.
I've already flamed, I think, the Samsung people a couple of times for their bad phone.
But didn't they respond? Didn't they get...
No, I got no response at all.
Oh, none.
None. I think they just went into hiding.
Yeah, and I went to the Samsung, their Twitter account. They have for the Nexus S, and I went to their actual page. So they weren't listening in the social Vine, and they didn't contact me. I went to their page and sent them a message asking questions and got really great service. But that is interesting. We need to listen.
Yeah, and it's, also they have millions of customers. So as a result, they can't catch everything that people say, but they do catch probably some of it.
Right.
Well, mine was a complaint, and then I guess my complaint was about 2 weeks later than the 6 months that they had promised something, and they actually had delivered Android 2.2 by the time I complained. But that was 6 months after the promised date.
Yeah,
that wasn't fun.
Not good.
We bought the phone specifically for Android 2.2. By the way, never buy anything nowadays that doesn't have what you want on it, because don't believe the promises that Flash will be on it in 1 week. Not, or you're going to be on Android 2.2 or 2.3 or 3.0 in 1 week. Don't believe it until the phone's out with it. Wait.
That's a good point.
There's a lot of vendors who just aren't coming up to speed on the deliveries. And the other issue is there's a lot of constant infighting and suing between each other on who gets what when. So just wait. Once it's out and actually on the market, that's a good time to buy it.
Right. That's true. Yeah, don't believe it just because it's in writing all over the place. It must be there. I actually just saw in the chat room, I think Lily said prompter app on Android is 99 cents. So if you have a tablet, see, I couldn't read it on my phone. I couldn't use.
It's really small. You could read maybe a 4 or 5. If you're doing it far away, maybe a sentence, maybe.
They'd have to hold it across the room for me.
Yeah, that'd be hard.
Yeah, but I guess if you're rehearsing though, that might be a great app to use because I like the fact that there's a timer on there.
Yeah, of course you could put that on an Android tablet. Then it's a little bit bigger.
Right. If you have an Android tablet, that the app is available in the Android market for only 99 cents. That is why I like Android stuff. The apps are free or a lot less expensive.
But the quality isn't usually as good. There's been a
True.
lot of complaints about quality, and some of the games are good, but app quality on the whole, I've played with my wife's Android apps. They're just not as clean as some of the iPad apps, and I say that reluctantly because I'm not the biggest fanatic of the way Apple does things, especially the development environment, but the developers are coming out with cleaner apps.
Right. And Dawn asked, kind of made a statement and then asked, is this true? The Droid can be connected to a projector. That is true. I actually have on my Android, my Nexus phone is an Android, and I can connect this to a Pico projector that I have, and I can connect it to my iPad. I've tried to use it twice, the projector. It's so, you have to have the right setting, like maybe 5 people in a conference room, and it has to be pitch dark in there because
they're not that powerful yet. They're really small. They're cute. By the way, though, the projectors work on Windows mobile phones. They work on iPads, iPhones, Android. They work on pretty much anything that has an output port, and they work pretty well. But again, like Gina said, you pitch black.
You really need to have the right. And again, it's not going to project it as big as. Although I have seen a couple other projectors that cost almost as much as having a regular projector, but they're smaller, almost like a docking station. And then you put your phone in, iPhone or Android, and it will project regular strength. But it was, I think, $1,000 for the projector, which I thought, okay, I'm not going there.
That's a lot of money for a projector, especially nowadays. Yeah, in the old days, I remember buying a projector. They were about $2,500, $3,000.
Right.
We got echo.
I have so many things. I have a full-size projector that I've probably used 5 times. If a client didn't have one, I always had it in my car as a backup. But if I traveled, I never brought it. But it was, I went and invested a bunch of money in that. I also have all the remote response systems, and I think I've used those maybe 5 or 6 times. And I paid, I think, $4,000 for the remote system. And I said I need to actually go through and just do a gadget garage sale. Get my stuff out on Craigslist or eBay.
Well, that's why you live 3,000 miles away from any humans, to protect all those assets.
Exactly. Yeah, well, most burglars would come in and go, I have no idea what all these things are. It'd have to be a pretty tech-savvy burglar to understand what most of my gadgets are. So,
well, that is our music, and it is time for us to bid everyone a fond adieu.
Farewell. I'll be excited to hear next week who bought an iPad 2.
So let's see, what language did we talk about today? Japanese, sayonara. Hasta luego.
Dubite Chinghua. I think that's hello in Chinese, but...
Yeah. I forgot what Chinese. I did Chinese too. Saijan was hello. I can't remember goodbye. It could be Saijan too.
What's the song? Farewell, goodbye, Avita saying goodnight.
Yes.
Oh well, that was bad.
We're the Von Trapp singers. Hey, goodbye, everybody. Thanks for coming to the show. Thanks for subscribing. This will be up on YouTube a little bit later today, and we are actually coming up with a new podcast server. We're actually talking to different sources, including YouTube, so that we can have one long video rather than have to break it up into 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And then we can have good quality video, because right now the videos are getting out of sync a little bit when it goes from Justin to YouTube, and we're trying to keep the video sizes small because the shows go on a little bit longer, and people are complaining about downloading 300, 400 megabyte files, which is kind of large if you don't have good bandwidth.
What's the problem?
Yeah, if you don't have good bandwidth. We don't all have files.
Well, I'm excited. You guys have a great week.
You too. Bye-bye. Thanks, Gina.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks so much in the chat room. Au revoir.